The orphanage cast a long, cold shadow over Forger's early years. Stone walls, hard beds, meager meals. It was a harsh existence, made harsher by the sting of abandonment. He never knew his parents. Left on the doorstep, a babe wrapped in rags. Only a crude wooden toy soldier clutched in his tiny fist offered a hint of their past. Forger found solace in the orphanage's small chapel. The nuns spoke of a merciful God, a God of love. Their words were a balm on his young soul. He clung to their teachings, finding comfort in the rituals, the hymns, the promise of a brighter afterlife. Among the other orphans, Forger gravitated towards Pritcher, a boy 2 years his senior. Pritcher, with his quick wit and nimbleness, possessed a spirit that defied their dreary surroundings. He spun tales of daring heroes and mystical creatures, stories that sparked Forger's imagination and kindled a friendship that would endure the trials to come. Yet, beneath Forger's burgeoning faith simmered a deep well of anger. It flared at the slightest injustice, the casual cruelty of older boys, the indifference of the world outside their walls. The nuns urged patience, forgiveness, but the fury lingered, a shadow within his soul. Forger's devotion wasn't quiet contemplation. It burned with a fiery intensity. He saw himself as God's warrior, destined to vanquish evil and uphold justice. His prayers were less pleas for guidance, more declarations of unwavering loyalty. The older boys learned to avoid him. His temper, once easily provoked, now carried the weight of righteous anger. He saw sin in their petty thefts, their bullying, their disregard for the nuns' teachings. Forger became their judge, jury, and sometimes their punisher. Pritcher, ever the observer, watched his friend's transformation with concern. He saw the danger in Forger's unwavering certainty, the potential for darkness in his unwavering light. He tried to temper Forger's zeal with humor, with reason, with reminders of the compassion at the heart of their faith, but Forger remained resolute. He trained in secret, honing his body, mastering the few weapons within the orphanage walls. He saw it as preparation for a higher calling, a divine purpose that would lift him from the squalor of his youth. At 15, Forger's chance arrived. The Knights Guild held their annual recruitment in the city square. Young men from across the kingdom flocked to prove their mettle, their eyes filled with dreams of glory and valor. For Forger, it was a calling, a divine summons to service. He excelled in the trials. His strength, honed by years of secret training, surpassed boys far older. His unwavering faith gave him an almost preternatural courage, a disregard for pain and danger. But it was his unwavering sense of justice that caught the eye of the Knight Commander. The guild, steeped in tradition, valued discipline and obedience. Forger, with his fiery temper and independent streak, seemed an unlikely candidate. Yet the commander saw something more. He saw a potential for greatness, a raw power that, properly channeled, could become a formidable weapon for good. Forger rose swiftly through the ranks of the Knights Guild. He was a natural swordsman, his movements fluid and precise, his strikes infused with the full force of his conviction. He was fearless in battle, a whirlwind of righteous fury that swept aside all who stood against him. His devotion, once seen as excessive, became his defining trait. He was dubbed Forger the Twice Faithful, faithful to his God and faithful to his queen. He became a shining example of knighthood, his name whispered with reverence and awe. His defining moment arrived during a royal procession through the Whisperwood. Trolls, drawn by the scent of power, ambushed the queen's carriage. Forger, with a handful of men, held the beasts at bay, buying time for the queen to escape. He fought with the fury of a man possessed, his armor stained crimson, his sword a blur of silver. He emerged victorious, though grievously wounded. The queen, deeply moved by his valor, named him captain of her personal guard. He had reached the pinnacle of his order, a testament to his unwavering faith and unyielding loyalty. Section 5. A Kingdom's Decay. The king, long ill, had been bedridden for months. A strange wasting sickness clung to him, defying the efforts of the kingdom's finest healers. Then came Steshany, a young woman with eyes like the summer sky, and a phoenix chick perched upon her shoulder. She offered a single feather from the mythical creature, a cure that shimmered with magic. The king recovered. The kingdom rejoiced. But Forger noticed a change. A subtle shift in the atmosphere, a creeping darkness that seemed to emanate from the throne itself. The queen, once known for her gentle heart and wise counsel, grew cold and distant. Her gaze, once warm and inviting, turned sharp, calculating. Whispers of strange new policies reached Forger's ears. Increased taxes levied on the already struggling peasantry. Dissent silenced with brutal efficiency. The queen, once beloved by her people, now ruled through fear and intimidation. The kingdom, once a beacon of prosperity and justice, began to resemble the shadows that lurked beyond its borders. One night, while patrolling the castle's darkened corridors, Forger overheard a conversation. The queen's voice, laced with an unfamiliar ruthlessness, sent a chill down his spine. She spoke of an artifact, the Eye of Thalia, a gem of immense power said to grant its wielder dominion over life and death. She was hiring a rogue, a man known for his stealth and ruthlessness, to retrieve it. The price, a king's ransom and a guarantee of immunity from the queen's justice. The implications struck Forger with the force of a physical blow. His queen, the woman he had sworn to protect, was conspiring with criminals, seeking to claim an artifact of immense and terrible power. His world, the foundations of his faith, crumbled around him. His loyalty, once unwavering, shattered. He had pledged his life to serve and protect the kingdom, but what was a kingdom without justice? What was faith in the face of such profound betrayal? Torn between duty and conscience, Forger fled. He could not serve a queen who had so blatantly abandoned the principles he held sacred. He removed his armor, the symbol of an order he no longer recognized, and donned the plain clothes of a commoner. Leaving behind the only life he had ever known, he disappeared into the night. The city gates, once symbols of safety and belonging, now loomed like iron bars. He slipped through them unseen, a ghost among the late-night revelers and weary travelers. He had no destination, no plan, only the burning certainty that he could not stand idly by while darkness consumed the kingdom he had sworn to protect. The road ahead stretched long and uncertain, but for the first time in his life, Forger felt truly free. Free from the shackles of blind loyalty, free to pursue justice on his own terms, even if it meant standing against the very forces he had once vowed to defend. He sought refuge in the ruins of the orphanage, a place of faded memories and lingering pain. The stones stood as silent witnesses to his past, a reminder of the anger and longing that had shaped him. It was there, amidst the crumbling walls and overgrown gardens, that he found Pritcher, Valen the rogue, and Stashani, the Phoenix mage. Their reunion was both joyous and somber. Pritcher, his wit still sharp, greeted him with a wry smile. Valen, ever the pragmatist, appraised him with a calculating gaze. Stashani, her eyes filled with a wisdom beyond her years, seemed to understand his turmoil without a word being spoken. They had gathered here, drawn together by fate and a shared purpose, to challenge the queen's growing tyranny, to expose her corruption, to reclaim the kingdom from the shadows that threatened to engulf it. Forger, once a symbol of blind obedience, now found himself among rebels, united in their defiance of a corrupt regime. As he listened to their stories, Forger felt the full weight of the queen's betrayal settle upon him. The kingdom he had sworn to protect, the ideals he had held sacred, had been twisted and corrupted. The queen, consumed by her lust for power, had become the very evil he had dedicated his life to fighting. He looked at his companions, their faces etched with a mixture of determination and despair. They were an unlikely band of heroes, a jaded bard, a cynical rogue, a young mage, and a fallen paladin. Yet, in their eyes, he saw a glimmer of hope, a reflection of the faith he had thought lost. He knew then that his journey was far from over. The road ahead would be fraught with danger, But he would not falter. He would fight for the soul of his kingdom, for the memory of the innocent boy who had sought solace in the teachings of a merciful God. He would embrace his anger, his doubt, his pain, and forge them into a weapon against the encroaching darkness. The twice faithful had fallen, but from the ashes of his shattered loyalty, a new kind of hero would rise.